KTZ. Welcome again, my lovely Form 1 students, in our proceeding lecture series in Form 1 topic for biology, and we have already covered several topics, and we are proceeding with our new topic, which is classification of the living things. In this topic, we will cover several subtopics, which is the concept of classification, the classification system, where we see on different types of classification, also the major groups of living things, and the last one is binomial nomenclature. You are mostly welcome, because in this topic we will see on how different scientists have managed to classify different groups of organisms, on the relationship and system between different kinds of organisms which are existing today. Also the naming of this fish, what the naming was created, and the name of different living organisms and plants we are using today. You're welcome. By starting with the concept of classification comes from the term classify, kutenga. So the classification in biology, this means that is a process of grouping organisms according to their similarities and difference. Organism, in other terms, you can call them living organisms. So classification is a process of grouping, kuwatenga organism depending on their kulingana na ufanano wao na utofauti wao. This is called classification. Organisms that are similar are placed in the same group, and this similarity can be in terms of the evolutionary relationship or the way they carry out life process, like feeding, reproduction, respiration, excretion, and the other process. So kwa hiyo tuna classify organism depending on the similarity kwa kuangalia evolutionary relationship. Vile vile tunaangalia namna gani wanakuwa na carry out the different life process, kama vile respiration, reproduction, excretion, and other life process. Now, what is taxonomy? Taxonomy, this is the field of biology that deals with the classification of living organisms. So the field which deals with the classification of organisms in biology is taxonomy, and the person who is dealing with the classification system tunamuita taxonomist. So taxonomist is a person or biologist who deals with the study of classification of living things. Now these are the example of the living things. We have the snail. This is a living things because it is made up of cells. Also a tree, crocodile. We have beast here. This is a lion. Also baobab tree. These are the example of the organisms which are found in our environment. Now, what are the importance of classification? What do you think? Kuna umuhimu gani wa kuweza kwa group au kuweza kutenga organism katika magrupu yao mbalimbali? The first one is grouping them make easier to study and identify them because members of groups have many characters in common. Kwa hiyo kwa kuwatenga katika magrupu yao inasababisha kuweza kuwasoma kwa urahisi, kwa sababu different organism wanakuwa na character za kufanana nyingi. Tutakapoweza kuweza kwa grupu pamoja, tutaweza kuwajua vyema. The other is to make communication among biologists in the world easier. Nasababisha communication. This kind of communication katika mambo ya investigation, kuweza kujua kwamba yes, this is a mystery, this belong to the angiosperm. Huyu hapa ni Menocotyledonea. Kwa hiyo hapa inakuwepo ni uniform worldwide. The other one, it enables scientists to predict characteristics of organisms based on the characteristic of group it belong. Vile vile kwa kujua kwamba either this is a rat, this is a mammoth wana tabia gani. So these are one of the advantage of classification. The other one is help to understand how organisms are related in terms of the evolutionary history. Kwa group tunaweza tukajua kwamba organism, huyu hapa ni chimpanzee na huyu hapa ni human being, okay? How they relate. Nasema kwamba binadamu kutoka kwa nyani. Kwa nini? Wana uhusiano gani na nyani? So this is all about the importance of classification. Now, what are these classification systems? My lovely Form 1 students, there are two main types of the classification system. The first one is the natural classification system, and the other one is artificial classification system. Natural inatumia njia za asili, artificial inatumia artificial ways. So now let us see what is artificial and what is natural classification. By starting with the artificial classification, this involve grouping organisms according to few observable features. Kwa hiyo hapa inakuwa ina group organism au inatenganisha viumbe kulingana na tabia chache walizonazo, ambazo hizi tabia ni these external observable features, feature ambazo tunaweza tukaona kwa kutumia macho yetu. Kwa mfano, unaweza ukagrupu ndege pamoja na popo katika grupu moja kwa sababu wote wana mabawa. Now, for example, the presence of wings and legs. Therefore, bees and birds will be placed in the same group because of wings. So this we group them. Wanaangalia wanyama gani wana miguu, wengine hawana miguu. Okay, tutamchukua jongoo, tutamweka chura, tutamweka na viumbe wengine kwa sababu wote wana miguu na belong katika same group. And those legless, nyoka na and this earthworm tutaplace katika group moja kwa kuwa wote hawana miguu. That is artificial classification. And artificial classification also involves classifying organisms according to their size, shape, how they move, where they live and what they eat. Vile vile naangalia wana size gani. Tunaangalia size kubwa, size ndogo, namna gani wana move, wanatumia miguu au they are legless, wanaishi wapi, wengine katika dryland, wengine wanaishi katika miti, wengine wanaishi katika aquatic environment, na wanakula nini. Hawa ni herbivores, hawa hapa ni carnivores, hapa ni omnivores and so forth. Also, Aristotle used artificial classification to classify plants according to their shape, size and whether they are useful to man or not. Kwa kutumia one of the scientists Aristotle, yeye alitumia hapa artificial classification kwenye classify plants, mimea, kwa kuangalia shape zao, size zao na matumizi yake, either kama hii hapa inaliwa na binadamu au hii hapa hailiki au haina matumizi kwa binadamu. So, kuna umuhimu gani wa kutumia artificial classification? Because it is based on the few observable features, meaning that it is very easy, anyone can perform it. Now, it's based on simple and easily observable features, so everyone can identify. Unaweza kwa kuangalia tu tunaangalia, okay, huyu hapa ni nzi ana wings, huyu hapa ni bees, huyu hapa ana wings. Okay, huyu hapa ni bat, huyu hapa ana wings. Ndege naye ana wings. So, hapa ni grupu moja kwa kuwa wote wana mabawa. Utakuja kuangalia akina wana mabawa nao waka katika grupu moja. So katumia hiyo difference kwenye mabawa na wasiokuwa na mabawa katika magrupu mawili tofauti. Also it is stable since it does not change over time or discovery of new organism. Ni stable meaning that there is no room for the discovery of other new organism. Also it is simple to identify and classify organism since newly discovered organism with just a few known features can be easily fitted in. Also it is less expensive because it uses few observable features for grouping. Haina gharama kwa sababu inatumia tu character chache tu katika kufanya observation. No need of scientist, anyone can perform it. Also does not require highly skilled personnel. So that was all about the advantage of artificial classification. Now let us see the disadvantage of this system of classification. The first one, unrelated organisms in the internal makeup are grouped together because of few external resemblance features. Ina group organisms ambao hawafanani kabisa kwa sababu ya tabia chache ambazo wanazo kimuonekano. Kwa mfano, watagrupu popo na bees, popo na nyuki ambao wote ndio wana mabawa, lakini internally bees yule pale ana belong to kingdom insecta na popo yeye ana belong to the kingdom mammals. Ana mammary gland, ana meno and other features, ana fuzz, lakini ni tofauti na bee. Kwa hivyo inapelekea organism ambao hawafanani kabisa katika origin wana be placed together. Also, the similar organism may be placed in different group because of the use of few observable features. Organism ambao wanafanana wanaweza kupelekwa katika magrupu tofauti kwa sababu ya tabia, the external features chache ambazo wanakuwa wametofautiana. Also, they provide only limited information about each member. For example, organisms like bacteria and viruses are grouped together because they are microscopic. Vile vile inakuwa inatoa taarifa kidogo about organism kwa sababu unaangalia hapa bacteria na virus, both are microscopic organism. But they are grouped together kwa sababu wote ni wadogo, lakini in really they are not the same. Hapa amekuwa ametumia tu the concept of size. Also, it is less accurate because it uses only few observable features. Vile vile sio accurate. It is not real kwa sababu inatumia taarifa chache. So it cannot be scientifically proved. It cannot give the really answer or the really grouping or the really origin of the particular living organism. Now, these are the examples of the grouping by using the artificial, whereby the bees, bat and the bees was grouped in the same group kwa kuwa wote walikuwa wana mabawa. Na hapa nyoka, snail as well as earthworm kwa kuwa wote ni legless will be grouped together, kitu ambacho it is not true. Now the second system of classification is the natural system of classification, ambapo tunatumia njia ya asili. In this way, in this type tunaangalia evolutionary relation. All these organisms are phylogenetically related. Wanahusiana vipi? Tunaangalia chimbuko, evolutionary relation of organism. Now, organisms are grouped based on many features in common, particularly those related to evolutionary relationship. Kwa hiyo hapo tunatumia taarifa nyingi, sifa nyingi ambazo zinakuwa zinahusiana kwa kuangalia au kwa kurefer to the evolutionary relationship. In this system, characters that are homology or of origin must be distinguished from those exhibit analogy or similarity of use. Kwa katika hii type of classification, meaning that homology ni zile structure ambazo zime evolve from the same ancestor, na analog ni hapa characters ambazo zenyewe hazija evolve from the same ancestor, lakini zinakuwa zina perform the same function externally. Kwa mfano katika analogy character hapa tutaangalia bawa la nyuki pamoja na bawa la popo. Tunaangalia wote wakiwa nje mabawa tunatumia katika kupaa, lakini internally they are not the same, but because of the environmental condition wameweza kudeviate kuweza kupata ile character kwa ajili ya kuweza kuishi. Lakini homology ni ile character ambayo imeevolve from the same origin, lakini external wanakuwa na perform different activities. Kwa mfano unaangalia limbs ya binadamu na vile vile limbs za other herbivores za kina ng'ombe. So this is all about the natural classification system, where it distinguishes these two types of the character, homology and analogy. Now, for example, arm of man, forelimb of phallus, and wings of feet are homologous structures. They have evolved from the same structure. They are the same internally, but they perform different function on outside. Also, in contact, wing of birds and insect have the same function, meaning that they are analogous, but they are different in origin and they perform same function on external. Now, what are the advantages of the natural system of classification? It's all organisms which are not genetically and evolutionarily related to be grouped together. So inaruhusu scientists na biologists kuweza ku group organisms which are not genetically and evolutionary relationship to be grouped together. So it's allowed the grouping of organisms which are genetically and evolutionarily related to be together. This is not which are genetically related, are the ones which are grouped together. Also, it is more accurate, meaning that it is involves scientific research for gathering information before actual grouping. Kuna scientific proof. Also, it's allow additional of new features when they are discovered. Rules the discovery of other new organisms. Also, it enables placing of newly discovered organisms to group they belong. Now, what are the disadvantages of the natural system? So, this system is very very much complicated kwa sababu kwanza it involves many features. Vile vile features nahitaji the relationship with the evolutionary features. So now it is very very time consuming and very expensive. So it is very expensive since it involves experimenting, research, and how classification scale. It need someone or scientists well equipped with this taxonomic scale. And also it is tedious and time consuming. Inachosha vile vile inachukua muda mrefu kwa sababu it uses many features in grouping organisms. Also it is not stable kwa sababu inakuwa inaruhusu the discovery of new organism from time to time. Now, what are the difference between artificial and natural classification system? The first one, artificial based on external features only, while natural consider both internal and external features. The second difference, artificial system require simple skill, while natural require scientific skill in grouping process. Also, artificial based on individual interest, while natural based on international standard. The other difference is that artificial is less accurate, while natural system is more accurate because it can be subjected to scientific proof. Also, artificial is fast and less expensive kwa sababu kwa sababu it only use few observable features. Likewise, the natural system is very expensive na time consuming. It is very tedious kwa sababu inahitaji the performance of the experiment and the approval of this, the collection of data and the approval of the finding. Now, before I sum up my session, I hope that now you have enjoyed it, you are familiar with the concept of classification, the system of classification, how they work, the advantage of these two systems of classification, which are natural and artificial, their advantage, their disadvantage, as well as their difference. Now, you have to take a simple task to increase your understanding. The first question states that why classification is important. Why classification is important. The second one, explain the disadvantage of artificial system of classification. And the last question, what are the difference between natural and artificial system of classification? That's mark the end of our today's session. You are mostly welcome to keep on following other coming subtopics so as to increase your competence. Have a nice moment.